Good evening everyone and welcome to TTL F2. We are here for Season 6, Round 9. 3 more rounds, 3 more races in fact to go here tonight as we take in the Japanese Grand Prix from the Suzuka International Circuit. Of course, good evening everyone, I am James Head, going to be taking you through the action. Joining me in the commentary box, as always, on for TTL F2, I should say, on a Tuesday night, it is Aidan Carter. Aidan, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well as well. I think it's going to be a fascinating night, and as you can see, we've only got 7 drivers in at the minute, but hopefully we are going to get a good attendance. And it's most notably to see actually that the former championship leader Honey Badger and the current championship leader Siege are currently here tonight. Now, of course, Honey didn't attend last week. 6 points the gap between Siege and Honey at the start of the championship, at the start of tonight, I should say. How do you feel these races are going to pan out? Because Siege obviously taking the win, it's going to give him, taking the championship lead, it's going to give him a big advantage. But Honey back, is he going to try and reclaim that form back from 2 weeks ago?
I think he's going to have to, just because I think Siege is, obviously now that Siege has taken the championship lead, he now has the momentum now that Honey Badger's taken a week out, which means he's going to kind of get back up to speed again and try and get towards the front of the field. But last time we saw him, he utterly dominated, so it's hard to say whether he's going to do the same again, but I wouldn't bet against it.
Yeah, and actually 2 weeks in a row, the last 2 weeks in Belgium, obviously Honey took both race wins there, and reviewing from last week as well, Vic Mill took both race wins there and landed himself within the championship battle. 43 points separating the top 4 coming into tonight. Do you think Vic Mill will continue on that form?
I think so. I think this track and Suzuka in terms of driving style are relatively similar. It's quite a difficult track to master, a lot of changes of direction. Obviously these cars are quite heavy on the understeer side, and Vic Mill seemed to be able to control that really well at Singapore when he looked on fire. So I think it's possible he could continue that today, but he's not here yet, so I don't know if he's missing.
Yeah, Vic Mill is a noticeable absentee actually. We have got the top 3 in the standings, I do believe, here currently. Of course, VRT Venom now becoming MCR Venom. I do believe he runs as a in the karting championship in real life, which is why his name change has taken and gone place. And the Scotsman obviously hoping to get a good result here tonight. Singapore obviously last week, Vic Mill taking both wins, the feature and the sprint race, and of course he was awarded driver of the day as well. It is Siege though who leads the championship after a dramatic night in Singapore last week. He leads on 217 points with Honey in second on 211. It couldn't be that closer for the championship lead. VRT Venom, now MCR Venom, in third on 184 with Vic Mill in fourth on 174. Sean is in fifth on 141. He's got a slight niggling chance to try and get the race, to try and get up into the championship, but I think his championship chase might be over. Spike is in sixth on 98. He's well clear of Mays, who's on 51 points in seventh. Conti is in eighth on 42. ILRT Matter, welcome back to him as well. He's in the Campos. He's on 40 points in ninth, and TTG Maximus, who was missing tonight, the Carling driver, he's on 31 points. Renfara, who is here tonight, he's on 15 points, as is Charlie on 15. TTG Storm on 11, S. Graham on 9, Casper on 8, and Cam on 6 points respectively. And looking at the constructors, it is again it's really too close to call. It's like the Brexit referendum all over again. Dams 268 points for Mark Grand Prix in second on 253 points. BWT Arden in third on 245 points. That to me, I make that a 23 point gap between the top 3. MP Motorsport in fourth on 184. It's still quite close actually between MP and Campos. 181 for Campos in fifth. Univertosi in sixth on 99. Carlin in seventh on 49, with Prima in eighth on 17, and a tie for ninth between the Sauber Junior Cheroux team on 15 and the Trident team on 15 as well. And of course we are here in Japan tonight at the Suzuka International Circuit, a track that has really been a mainstay in the calendar, especially halfway through the season in real life Formula 1. Aiden, you've driven around this track before. I commentated on you in League of Europe a couple of weeks ago. How is the track for the drivers here tonight?
I think the track is, in these cars, especially difficult. The first sector is, these cars are nowhere near as responsive as the Formula 1 cars, and the first sector, it's almost caution is the better part of valor for this one. So trying to push really hard around this track every single lap is very difficult. So being able to know when you can push and when you can't push is kind of the key, I think, to winning this race. As for the track in real life, this has got to be one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It is a proper driver's circuit, and it is just absolutely brilliant to drive no matter what car you're in. So this probably is the one that I've looked forward to the most commentating over, and when I race in it as well, this is probably one of the ones I look forward to the most. So I think people are going to have a good time tonight,
I think people will have a great time out on track tonight. If it's anything like the League of Europe's Formula 2 Championship, though, there will be quite a few spins, I think, out on track tonight. We can't promise you that, of course, but hopefully we're going to get some very clean and good racing here tonight. Of course, we've got the 50% feature race and sprint race with one-shot qualifying awaiting the drivers out on track. Let's take a look then at the track. I've got my fabled track map up on the right-hand side of me, and there is only one DRS zone down this track, and that is only down the start-finish straight. Of course, there's been rumours circulating that they might have a second DRS zone after Spoon Curve at turn 14 on the run up towards 130R. That's a rumour that I've heard been circulated about, but it is a very technical track. The S section, if you put a foot wrong through the S section, you're probably going to go onto the curb, maybe end up in a spin, maybe end up onto the grass, and your tyres will be absolutely wrecked. Up into the hairpin, of course, into turn 11. That's going to be a real interesting corner as well. We should see hopefully a good lot of overtaking here tonight. We're about 20 seconds away, I think, from starting off here in TTL F2. We have got 12 drivers here out on track tonight. Vicmil has joined in the session, which I can very gladly report. So the top 4 in the championship going to do battle here tonight in TTL F2. I nearly said something else there, but obviously we are here in Japan. You probably thought to yourself what I was going to say there, to be honest.
I was just letting you go with that one. I was part of that.
But yeah, it is going to be a fantastic night of action. Let's have a tune into the comments section and see how you guys are doing. Of course, if you do want to show your support for any of our drivers here tonight, any of our 12, if you want to show support for me and Aiden in the comments section as well, of course, do that. Keep it clean, though, in the comments section. And there's plenty of penguins, I in the chat. May is waddling his way, hopefully, onto the track tonight. I had to get that in. I'm so sorry.
Oh, God.
Well, you can tell how this night's going to go now.
It's going to be one of those.
It's going to be one of those indeed. We're just waiting for the drivers then to have the 30-second countdown underway. Obviously, as I say, if you do want to get involved, the chat is there to freely use. Looking at one-shot qualifying, how do you think the guys' pace will be around here? Because, of course, we've got the top 4 in the standings. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
It's hard to get oh, I mixed my words up then. Let's do that sentence again. It's hard to bet against, not get against. That's not a word. It's hard to bet against Honey Badger not being on pole, really, because he has been, across the season, the fastest. He's had some unlucky races, especially Germany. That was a really bad weekend for him, but he's been pretty much the fastest all season, so it's hard to get bet against him being on pole.
Yeah, we're on the lap now with MCR Venom, the Scotsman, out on track, running down towards turn 1. Beautiful blue skies here in Japan. And Venom down in towards turn 1 and 2. Hanging off the camber of the corner then through turn 2. And the MP Motorsport car gets through there very nicely indeed. Now through the S section, through 3, 4, and then into 5 and 6 once again. So duplicated S section pretty much. Similar to what you see Maggots and doing a nice job currently out on track. Now through turn 7 towards the Degners for the first time. And MCL Venom currently right up there. Spike leading the way, interestingly, in one-shot qualifying to 37.2 through the first sector for MCR Venom. Of course, that name change bringing them a lot of pace, I think, here tonight. And Venom up towards the hairpin now. Through turn 10 and then into turn 11. Got to get hard on the brakes here. Take a very deep line in. Take short shifting gears through there and get the traction out. Now on the run down towards Spoon. Venom on through the middle sector here, and He's looking good, I've got to say, on this lap. Honey Badger and Spike right around, now coming through Spoon Corner right now. And MCL Venom coming through there very nicely indeed. That was through turn 14, now on the run towards 130R through turn 15. And this is the fastest corner on the track where he can take it flat out without any lift. It's a 122.5 through the middle sector. Vickmill beginning to get up there as well. So the main four protagonists right up there, pitching in now through the Casio Triangle at 16 and 17. And then catch the bump on the inside of the corner. You might end up into the pit wall. Venom manages to ride over the bump nicely. And it's Spike who takes pole position. And look at the top four, just less than 0.2 of a second separating Spike, Honey Badger, Vickmill, your top three.
Wow, brilliant. Look how close it is between first and second as well.
Yeah, 0.07 of a second, I think, separating first and second there. Of course, Venom now just coming through the middle sector there, but that's the end of qualifying. I can't believe it. I'm quite nervous tonight, as you can tell. That's why I'm messing up a little bit. Bless us. Bless us.
Proper driver's track though, and look how close it is between the top four. They're so equally paced.
Fantastic. Less than 0.2, as I say. It's Spike who has taken it for the Univitosi team. From Honey Badger, the former championship leader, in second. Vickmill in third, with MCL Venom in fourth. Mashiro, interestingly, on his debut, the TTSL champion, in fifth. With Siege, the current championship leader, in sixth. He's got it all to do from there. Sean in seventh, Conti in eighth, Matta in ninth, Mays in 10th. Casper also got a lap in, but was about 17 seconds slower, so he probably made a mistake on that lap. And Ren Farah picked up an invalidation somewhere out on track as well. But looking at the top four, less than 0.2 of a second separating, this is surely going to be game on for the race.
It's got to be all about strategy and the start of this race as well, because this track is notoriously difficult to overtake on. Even in Formula 1, can't imagine what it's like in Formula 2 without the use of rich fuel and ERS at all. So it's going to be about who can get the best start and who gets the best strategy calls.
Yeah, Mashiro just coming into the comment section saying there, it's a second time driving in the TTL in the F2 cars. Not bad at all. Not bad at all indeed. And I think the TTSL champion will be right up there. In terms of the championship fight though, of course, Honey Badger has outscored Siege here in one-shot qualifying. How do you think he's going to go about the race? Do you think Honey will try and get the move done down in towards turn one and try and dominate the race as he has done this season? Or do you think Siege has got it all to do and possibly come through the field on the first lap and expect a few mistakes?
Well, I'm actually quite shocked to see Siege so far down, to be honest. I would have expected him, even with a little bit of a poor lap, to be ahead of Mashiro, and in between the gap between Venom and Mashiro, there's quite a big gap between them. So Siege having a relatively poor run. I think this is prime opportunity for Honey Badger to try and get the best start possible. I think it's going to have to be done into turn one for Honey Badger, because Spike and Honey Badger are so evenly paced in qualifying, at least, that if Honey Badger is behind Spike, they could be fighting the whole race and could be pulling each other up. But it seems like a mix of strategies at the moment, so they've got to be careful for Vickmill and Venom, who are starting on the softer tyres.
Yeah, Vickmill and Venom, interestingly, as you say, going on a set of soft compound of tyres. Third and fourth, of course, through one-shot qualifying. The Paul obviously taking both wins last week and getting driver of the day to boot. I think he's got an outside chance. Obviously, the soft compound of tyre will probably go to around lap 7, I'm going to gamble on and say lap 7. Mediums will probably go to about lap 10 before the guys have to pit in. And of course, we've got Mays and Renfara also on a set of soft compound of tyres. How do you think those guys will get on a set of softs? Because they're going to wear probably quite quick within the first 4 or 5 laps around here.
I'd say probably about lap 5 or 6 is when they're going to be pitting, so they've got to make the most of the pace that they've got at the start. They've got to do it pretty much immediately and try and get ahead of Spike and Honey Badger and pull away, because otherwise they're just going to get stuck, and it's going to render the alternate strategy kind of pointless, really, because at the end of the day, Honey Badger and Spike will be on the fastest tyres at the end, and they could still be in front when they pit, so Vickmill and Venom have got to make the moves as early as possible.
They've got to try and get away early, I think, if they want to stand any sort of chance of winning. Now, obviously, we are just coming into the end of the formation lap now, and I'm going to push it for a top 3.
For a top 3, I think Honey Badger's going to win this race. I don't... It's hard... It's like I keep saying, it's really hard to bet against him. So I think Honey Badger's got this one in the bag. I think second, I'm going to go for Venom. And third, I'm going to go for Spike.
Ooh, interesting. I'm going to follow the same theme and say Honey Badger for the win. I think he's just going to be totally dominant. If he gets the jump off Spike down in towards turn 1, I think it's probably game over for the rest of them in behind. Honey Badger, I think, will take the win. I'm going to go Venom for second. And for third, I'm going to swap Spike in for Vicmil. I think Vicmil will take third. So then, the 5 red lights are about to go out. And we're about to get underway for round 9 of the championship here in TTL F2. Long holding the lights, but it's lights out and away we go. What are the starts like? Looks like Spike has got a pretty even getaway. Honey Badger trying to force him down towards turn 1, but he's not going to be. There's a little bit of running onto the grass there. I think that might have been Matter running onto the grass. Everyone looking clean through turn 1. Matter and Sean having a little bit of contact. I think Sean has just been caught up in that, and May's also caught up in that as well. What happened back there?
I think Matter got caught on the inside cover. Might have a contact with Conti. I can see if it was Conti or not, but he got sideways and then spun in the opposite direction in an overcorrection, and Maze had nowhere to go.
Venom nearly going up the inside there of turn 7. MCR Venom right on fire, of course. He wants to try and get past Honey Badger early on because he's on the set of soft compound of tyres. Now through the Deckens for the first time, and Spike leads the way by 0.5 of a second from Honey Badger in second. There's Venom in third, Vicmil in fourth, Siege in fifth, Machine was sixth. Venom going for the move down the inside into the hairpin. I think the traction though will favour the outside. Honey Badger will be on the inside on the run down towards Spoon, but I think Venom might have this job done. Venom on the outside line. It's still side by side between these two running through here. Be careful into Spoon, guys. Venom down the inside, a little bit of contact with Honey Badger. Vic Miller's up the inside as well. So Honey Badger just hanging off the camber of the corner, having a little bit of contact with Venom there. I don't think anything could have been done about that. I think Venom was always going to get that move done. Well, that now forces the pole into contention, and he's right on the back of Venom, down the inside into 130R. Very, very hard racing here early on, and Venom has to rejoin track ahead of Vic Miller. He might have to give that position up because Vic Miller was past him. Honey Badger trying to fight through, but Honey Badger's not having the greatest start, and look who's behind him. The championship leader is right in behind him. Siege has got a good start, but at the end of lap 1 it's Spike who leads the way by 1.3 seconds. Venom may be holding up a little bit of a train here as Vic Mill tries to switch down the inside. The BWT Arden driver not going to be close enough down in towards turn 2. He's in third though, with Honey Badger 4th, Siege in 5th, Machine on his debut in 6th, with Conti in 7th, Matter in 8th, Memphar in 9th, Casper in 10th, and Sean in 11th. Mays into the pits after that contact with Sean and possibly with Conti as well. But a very good lap 1 and a lot of action up the top half of the field.
Yeah, and Venom and Vicmil doing what they needed to do already in passing Honey Badger. Spike's obviously gapped them in that process, but yeah, this has really compromised Honey Badger, and Siege again with a really good start back up to the front of the field where he should have been qualifying.
Yeah, very much the sun just glinting into the eyes of the drivers there as they come through the Deckens. I was on board with Siege there. Everyone not close enough down in towards the hairpin at turn 11. But Spike leads the way. But that gap is now beginning to come down. Venom and Vicmil beginning to drag on a little bit of a group behind Honey Badger, Siege and Mashiro all involved with that. Mashiro actually has gapped Conti as Venom has ran wide through Spoon. So Venom has actually ran wide there through Spoon. Vicmil though not close enough to try and get the move done, but that is a compromised run then for the Scotsman, and now the pole right on the back of him running down towards 130 on. Look at the speed that Vicmil's got. It looks like he's definitely got a straight line speed setup rather than a cornering setup around here. I think it should be the other way around for him, but coming in towards the Casio Triangle once again, and a Venom again just locking up Vicmil. Honey Badger waiting on him behind. You can see the shadow of the halo just running through, and Vicmil right on the back of Venom. But once again, Spike leads the way on Venom in second, and has actually set the new fastest lap on the race with a 44.4. Vicmil in third, trying to go for the move there down towards turn 1, but not quite close enough. He's actually going to try and singe it up the inside here, but Venom, oh, how's he held that? The half drift through turn 2. Venom holds on to that for second position, but all of this battling is now just beginning to let Spike begin to gap them away again.
Yeah, just to comment on Vicmil's straight line speed, he's, like you said, he's definitely gone for a straight line speed setup by the looks of things. If he's able to pass Venom and get in front of him and then pit early for the mediums and use the tyre as well, that could serve him pretty well because it could make it very difficult to overtake.
I think it will as well, because obviously you've got Honey Badger in behind, who's actually keeping up, and Siege, who are keeping up with Vicmil at this stage. There's a little bit of action going on further down the field, though. Mata is trying to get the move done on Conti, down towards the hairpin. Not going to be quite close enough. Of course, they've got to wait for the DRS to be enabled next lap around, and it's actually side by side between Vicmil and Honey Badger. Honey Badger on the inside line, Vicmil all the way around the outside. I don't think Honey Badger will go for this move. But Vicmil is holding on to P3, or is he? Because Honey Badger tries to go up the inside again, running slightly wide, but not quite close enough. Oh, Honey Badger! Oh, and he's spun! Oh, how on earth? I don't think he's got damage. How on earth he managed to recover that? He's used the on-court barrier there to good effect. I did not see any front wing damage come off that car. Gonna check.
He's fine. I think
he's fine.
Wow. Oh. Incredibly lucky, but wow, he had a slide coming out the corner, caught it, and then had another slide and wasn't able to catch that one, but he's really lucky to get away with that and not lose too many positions.
And that, in the meantime, will extend Siege's championship lead by just 2 points at this stage.
Mashiro's just passed Siege, actually, so Mashiro's up to 4.
Siege to the outside line.
Back at him. No, he's not going to be able to go for that move. There's just not enough grip in that car to be able to go around the outside of turn 1. But yeah, Mashiro's actually past Siege somewhere on that lap and is taking away points from the championship leader.
I think it might have been out the final corner, actually, out of the Casio triangle. I think Siege might have got caught on the bump, and that's why you saw him drop back to gain the DRS on Mashiro. But Mashiro, I've got to say, is driving a very good conservative race at this stage. He's doing exactly what he needs to do on his debut to really shine the light amongst the field. Sean, by the way, did come into the pits that lap. He has already been in, and Maids has already been in as well, so just picking up on that. But on lap 4 out of 15, it is Spike who leads the way, from Venom in second, Vicmil in third. Most position gains at the minute came from Renfara, actually, who was gained 3 positions early on. The majority of the field, though, have either gained 2 or 1 positions, which is good to see. Honey Badger, of course, after that dreadful start, down 4 positions, and now Siege could force Mashiro to the inside line here, but I think Mashiro is just going to hold on down towards Spoon once again. But a really good battle for 4th, and this is really going to bring the championship battle right into play, because Siege and Honey Badger are right beside each other out on track.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is, like you said, the prime opportunity for Siege to try and keep extending that championship lead. But Honey Badger not quite on his freshest at the moment, making a few mistakes and not having the best start. Siege is going to go for the chicane in a way. Got to use this opportunity and use Honey Badger's mistakes to try and gap him in the championship standings.
Mashiro's going to be under a double-pronged attack here, I think, because Siege and Honey Badger's right on the back of him. On to lap 5, about a third of the way through then in TTL F2, and Siege to the outside on Mashiro's. Mashiro's just going to let him have this one, he does, and Siege is through. Honey Badger ran very wide there. What happened there?
Yeah, Honey Badger was really wide. I think he just outbroke himself into turn 1. He's just not on his freshest at the moment. He's making a few mistakes, and it is costing him. Now that Siege has passed Mashiro, Honey Badger's got to try and follow him through quickly.
I think, honestly, I'm going to make this comment in the best interest. I don't think Honey Badger has actually practiced this track. Looking at him struggling and looking how we've seen him being dominant so far this season, I think Honey Badger's had a lack of practice around here, and that's why we are seeing him struggle so much here tonight, because Siege now ahead of Mashiro will extend the championship lead, and in fact Mashiro just makes a mistake out of Dector 2, and Honey Badger sails on by with an easy move there for P5. So Honey Badger, I think, is under pressure here tonight to try and deliver a good result. He wants that championship lead back, but I think in that process he's making a few mistakes out on track, and it's never good for the Dutchman to do that. But 0.8 of a second, he's got a little bit of a gap as well to Siege, a little bit of a cleaner break towards Siege. Hopefully we're going to see the pace come in anytime soon.
Yeah, this Honey Badger a little bit lucky there with Mashiro's mistake in this. That's kind of got him off the hook a little bit. He's able to close back into Siege if he's got the pace. Just noticing up front as well, Spike looks like he's got this under control. He's got a 2.5 second gap now to Venom, and Vicmil's starting to catch Venom a little bit as well, so I think Vicmil's better towards the end of the stint by the looks of things, as Venom's into the pits and so is Vicmil.
Yeah, I'm not surprised actually, because they're both on a set of softs.
Yeah, and it's lap 6 already. I didn't even notice that. This race has flown by so far.
I don't see Mata. Oh, we've got another, yeah, Honey Badger on Siege right on the back of him, but in the meantime, LRT Matter's trying to go down the inside of Conti down towards turn 1, but he's never quite close enough, the Brit, and the Campos driver just sits on him behind. Back to the battle for second, Siege and Honey Badger, but look who's still there. Mashiro is actually driving a very good race at this stage, and it looks like he's got the pace over these guys as well.
It looks like Siege, out of the three of them, is the slowest at the moment. He's just holding them up a little bit. Honey Badger just looked like the faster of the two drivers, but these little mistakes creeping in has cost him. He's almost 7 seconds off the lead now because of these mistakes, and he started alongside Spike, so this has really cost him so far. He could be well in front of this battle. Now he's stuck right in the middle of it.
I think Mashiro might have just digged two wheels into the gravel there slightly on the left-hand side coming through Degner 1, and that's why he's just lost a little bit of time there to Honey Badger. But look at the run that the Dutchman has got. It is championship leader against former championship leader. First and second in the championship here, Siege and Honey Badger. They should be going, I think, to about lap 9, lap 10 before they pit in.
Yeah, it should be about lap... I'd imagine lap 9 or 10 is probably the best time to pit. I'd say lap 10, just based on how the soft tyres are performing against the mediums towards the end of the stint. Just a note as well that Venom stayed in front of Vicknell in that soft strategy, so he's come out into a nice clean there, and he can push and try and see if he can catch back up to Spike in this time.
Yeah, 1.5 seconds that gap actually coming out of the pit. Siege has gone very deep there into the Casio Triangle, and Honey Badger right on the back of him. Spike set the new fastest lap of the race on a set of mediums, interestingly, with a 43.9. But this is it, the championship battle now hotting up here in Japan as Honey Badger goes to the inside. He's got the DRS open. Siege is going to give him that one, and Honey Badger's down the inside into turn 1 on the straight, easy as you like, and he's up to second. Good move.
Really nice clean move. He's obviously making that mistake. He didn't really have a chance against Honey Badger there in the exit. He got, just a note as well, in all that, Mashiro and I believe Mata both made a mistake at the chicane, so Conti's up to 4th and Mashiro's dropped to 6th.
Oh, good spot actually. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I think Mashiro must have. I think he might have spun midway through the corner, and Mata spun.
Has he got caught on the bump at the final corner?
It was before the final corner, actually. I think it was in the chicane that they made this mistake, so just before that.
Just having a look at the battle, actually, between Maze and Sean, right at the back of the field. They're probably going to be side by side running down the straight here. Maze getting a much better run out of the final corner there through the Casio Triangle, and now Maze under pressure from Sean. Can the Campos man get the Dams car? Of course, Campos and Sean... Dams are in a championship battle in the Constructors. Sean is down the inside line though into turn 1. May's not giving that up lightly, but Sean, with the fresher tyres, with the slightly fresher tyres, has got the move done. But I think that battle is going to rage on towards the end of the race, because Sean on the set of softs is going to have to make, 11 laps on a set of soft compounded tyres? They're going to be punctured by the end, I think.
They're going to be very close to it, and I don't know if has he pitted too early.
I think he has.
I think it's pitted too early for the mandatory pit stop, so he may have to pit again. I'm not sure if Maze has done the same as well, or whether they have to pit again because they didn't pit. I think it's before lap 3 in a 50% race. Honey Badger's the fastest lap of the race now.
I think Sean pitted lap 4, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Sean, oh yeah, he did. He might have just passed it then, I'm not sure about Maze, so they may be okay, but Sean's really struggling.
Here comes Mashiro. Mashiro down the inside line of LRT Mata has got the move done. So Mashiro, the Japanese driver in front of his home fans, is up to 5th with a very nice clean sailing move down the inside on Mata as Venom sets a new fastest lap of the race.
Let's double check to see what Spike's last lap was as well, because the gap was only 2.5 seconds between them, and that's the fastest lap of the race now from them. Spike was nearly a second slower on that lap. So it's going to be close between Spike and Venom when Spike eventually pits. And Vicknell's not far off as well, only 2 seconds back. Vicknell, once again, Mr. Consistency, I think Vicknell is. He's not quite the fastest person in the field, but he's always there or thereabouts, able to pick up the scraps if anyone makes a mistake. Speaking of which, there's a yellow flag somewhere.
Yellow flag, I think, might have been for Conti in 4th, yeah.
He's got damaged front wing. I think he made a mistake coming out of the Degners.
Degner 2, is it right side end plate damage? Oh, it's left side end plate damage.
Side, yeah.
So, I think he's run too wide coming out of Degner 2 then, and he's contacted the wall on the outside. That's where it's happened.
Yeah, surely, and I was very close to calling them the Lesmos, but I get those mixed up far too often as Mata.
Oh,
wow.
Goodness me.
Really well held. Christ, yeah. Conti doing the smart thing. He's got front wing damage. He's letting these people through, not causing them any trouble. So I think he's just going to pit on this lap and change his front wing.
Yeah, I've gone pre, of course, in a constructors' battle alongside Dams, and if I remember the other team, I'm going to load it up now so I can confirm that.
BWT Arden, I believe.
BWT Arden, yes, you're right.
Yeah. Yes, Conti's into the pits now.
Conti into the pits. On board then with Honey Badger at this moment in time, and Conti actually picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will be added, of course, to the end of it, to the time at the end of the race, and Casper is also in. They're pitting slightly earlier than what I would have expected.
I think both of them have front wing damage though, so I imagine that their front tyres were starting to go off, so it was probably smarter for them to pit then. Just again though, another faster lap from Venom, and Spike a little bit quicker that lap round, but still it's going to be incredibly close between these two when they come out of the pits.
Honey Badger's actually beginning to catch Spike on this last lap around. 5.7 seconds the gap. It was 6.2, 0.4 of a second eaten out of that advantage. Honey Badger beginning to try and get a little bit closer, and Siege is actually beginning to catch Honey Badger, I think, at this stage. It's 1.5 seconds separating the second and third drivers out on track. Casper and Sean have both pitted. They're both out in clean air. Casper has just come out of the pits in 11th, and Sean is still in the pit lane, but he is coming around towards the final. He's coming out of the pit lane very shortly indeed. But Spike, is he going to pit this lap? I think he might this lap.
I think he might wait another lap.
No,
he tried to and he missed it. Oh, he tried to pit and he missed it. He went too far.
Honey
so he's
Badger's
going to
in.
have to go another lap.
Siege doesn't pit. Interestingly, Siege doesn't
Honey
pit.
Badger speeds. Honey Badger speeds in the pit lane. Another mistake. We're just saying Honey Badger catching up to Spike. He wouldn't have to have done that if he hadn't made the mistakes earlier on in the race. And he started to settle into a rhythm, clearly, and started to get the pace together. But another mistake, and that's costly. That could drop him way out of the podium places.
5-second time penalty to be added onto the time, of course, at the end of the race. So both Arc Grand Prix have actually picked up penalties. Venom is just coming across the line to set the new fastest lap the race with a 43.1, and he's gone well clear of Honey Badger, and Honey Badger actually is going to jump behind Vic Mill.
Yeah, and Vic Mill, obviously with that higher straight line speed, he's going to be difficult to overtake, but Honey Badger's got to catch him first. Wow, over 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds between the two of them.
Looking at the, how long's a pit stop around here in terms of the F2? About 32 seconds, I think it is?
Yeah, I think it's about, I want to say it's about 33, 34 seconds. But Spike, with that mistake coming into pit lane, must have cost him about a second. So he's surely going to be behind Venom when he pits.
Venom currently 30.5 seconds off the back of Spike. Vic Mill less than 33 seconds off the back of Spike. So if that reads into anything, it means Venom and Vic Mill will be leading the race when Spike and Siege come into pits. In theory.
Yes.
Of course, anything can happen.
Yes. Yeah, I think Spike, just by the looks of it, may come out in between Venom and Vic Mill for a net P2 once everyone pits. But let's see if he comes into the pits this lap and see. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake this time around.
He's going to take it more carefully this time. Yeah, clearly takes it more carefully. Can he get the car stopped into the pit lane? Yes, he can. Yeah. Much easier there. And Siege as well is coming into the pits in behind.
Yeah, Siege needs to just not speed because this is another way to gain points on a Honey Badger.
Actually took a slower pit lane entrance there than Spike by nearly 10 miles an hour.
I think it's just better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be caught out. I think Spike might have just got a little bit held up by Siege coming down the pit lane then, actually. So Spike losing a little bit more time in the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out relative to Venom.
Venom out the Casio triangle through the final corner. This is going to be very, very tight indeed. And I think Venom is going to be out on top. You're right. He's going to join right in the middle of both of them. Venom is then leading the race. So the Scotsman currently leading out on track from Spike in second, Vic Mill in third, Honey Badger in fourth. Imagine if he didn't make that mistake, Spike would have been out in front, I think. Mashiro, though, is right on the back of Ren Farah. Further down the field here, can the Japanese man get another overtake done in front of his home fans? Renfara pulls to the inside line. Mashiro ran the outside of turn one, hanging off the camber of the corner. Renfara just comes across him slightly, but Mashiro has got the pace in those soft compound of tyres, and he nearly lost it out of turn one. And Mata is trying to hunch it up the inside of the S section. This is very close racing between them both. How on earth they've kept it side by side through here, I do not know. And it's still side by side as Mashiro defends the position, but Mata's trying to sneak it up the inside inside as well. Now through the end of the S section and towards the Deckners, and Mashiro just about hangs on there, but Mata trying everything in his power to try and get the overtake done. Great racing.
And in a lap and a half, Honey Badger has taken 3 seconds out of Vic Mill. He's on the back of him already. Absolutely flying. Honey Badger, had he not made these mistakes, would have run away with this race, and he is down in fourth and possibly, but Siege is almost 5 seconds behind him already. So Honey Badger could still be ahead of Siege by the end of this race despite the penalty. And one thing we can't forget as well is that Venom isn't that far behind him in the championship. So Venom's P3 in the standings. He can gain on the pair of them not performing very well.
Remember, Spike could throw the spanner into the works as well, because he's on the set of soft compound of tyres. Vic Mill is all over. Honey Badger's right all over the back of Vic Mill, and at 1:41.9, I think it's 1.2 seconds quicker than Venom. Last lap around, Honey Badger then to the inside line, and the Dutchman has got the move done. So the former championship leader gains another position. Vic Mill, Mr. Consistency himself, down into fourth position, as Ren Farah has lost 2 positions to Mashiro and Mata there, and Mashiro actually and Mata are fighting down the straight. Mata with the DRS zone open, as well as Mashiro, and both of them are going to stay as they are, I think, down in towards turn 1. Mata's tries as he must, and Mashiro will hold on out in front. Lap 12 out of 15. God, this race has flown by. Venom leading the way by 6/10 of a second. In fact, the gap is just slightly smaller now. Spike in second. Honey Badger now in third. Now, what is going to be the key here? Venom has to hold up Spike for Honey Badger to get any sort of run into him. It's 1.8 seconds currently the gap. Venom is going to try and hold up Spike to bring Honey Badger back into play to try and get the race win. But remember, the 5-second time penalty is going to be very key towards the end of the race. And at this moment in time, I don't think he's on for top 3.
At the moment, no. He drops to, I think, 4th, possibly 5th. It's right on the bubble at the moment with Siege. And Honey Badger capturing the back of this pack might actually be a detriment to him, because he then could be held up. And that's going to cost him more time to Siege, who is catching Vic Mill. So Honey Badger could end this race in 5th.
Oh, Venom just defending that position well, but Spike all over the back of him.
Surely this is Spike's to take.
You can see where this is probably going to go. We're on to the third last lap here, 13 out of 15, and Spike, look at the straight line speed. The Universality is going to sail all the way around the outside. Venom does not put up a fight there, and the Brit is through on the Scotsman. The Scotsman trying to fight the position, but not going to be quite close enough, and Spike takes the lead of the race. Simple as you like.
Simple as you like, yeah. The tyre performance just much stronger, and I've noticed it's bizarre because the softs at the start of the race on Venom and Vic Mill did not look that strong, so I was not expecting Spike and Honey Badger to be this fast on the set of soft tyres at the end of the race, but they've got so much more pace and confidence. As Honey Badger, whoa, my word, just caught on board with him, then he was drifting through there. That's insane. As Venom gets a penalty as well. Oh,
yeah, running wide, ran wide through Deckner 1. That's unfortunate.
This is unfortunate, yeah, but Venom is kind of keeping with Spike at the moment, so he's not doing too badly at the moment. Obviously, Venom's trying to catch Honey Badger and Siege in the championship, and he's doing a good job of doing that at the moment. And I think Vic Mill, just based on his pace, could end up ahead of Honey Badger as well at the end of this race. So the people 3rd and 4th in the championship outscoring 1-2.
Vic Mill at this stage, he's about 3 seconds. Sean has sped into the pit lane, by the way, and has retired from the race. So there will be no implication on the safety car. Safety car not even turned on here in TTL F2, of course, after the glitches from Belgium and TTL F1. Cloud cover now beginning to come over the track, and you might be right, actually. Venom is keeping up with Spike at this stage, but with the added cloud cover, the softs are beginning, will wear off at a much quicker rate compared to what they will, because Venom, on a set of mediums, with that cloud cover, is now beginning to find the mediums. And I think, honestly, with this extended cloud cover, the mediums might be the best tyre to be on.
Possibly, yeah, but it all depends on how quickly the track temperature cools, because soft tyres, obviously, it's easier to keep the temperature in the softer tyres, so cooling track temperatures maybe favour, I think, would favour the softs more than the mediums, but of course the softs are still going to be degrading towards the end of the race. But yeah, Vic Mill at the moment on for a P3 by the looks of it. Venom's just going to keep P2 by the looks of the penalties, unless he makes a mistake and Vic Mill to get a penalty himself. Honey Badger's just got Siege covered at the moment, P5, so Honey Badger at the moment will stay P4 once these penalties applied. But it's still incredibly close between the top 5, despite everyone's mistakes, including Siege and Honey Badgers. It's still really close between the top 5.
Race has been thrown completely out of complexion. I think the rule book has been thrown out, and that's what we're seeing here tonight, because the driving in this feature race has been absolutely excellent, and the sprint race still to come, which will be even better, I think. But Spike currently leading the way, and he's just gapping Venom to that 1 second margin. Venom just beginning to lose, I think, DRS touch. Honey Badger is not getting closer to Venom at this stage, but it's still...
The softs are starting to go off by the looks of things on Honey Badger. He's not gaining any time, so that's probably why Venom's is able to not lose that much time.
Oh, and he picks up a 3 second time penalty, running wide through 130R.
Wow, that's him done. Surely he's 5th now because of that. Siege has got him covered because of this. Oh, and another mistake. Oh, Honey Badger, a massive moment on the bump in the last corner.
Oh, he's trying to get into those tyres. Definitely, you can see him weaving down the straight. That was a beautiful camera angle, actually. I'm on board with the front right wheel of his car, and you could see him trying to get heat into those tyres, and you could see the pure degradation. Casper picking up a 3 second time penalty, but it's the final lap of the race. I can't believe it. How quick has this race gone? I do not know. But Spike leads the way, and look at that gap. 1.
Yeah, I think 1.2, it's kind of levelling out, but I think Spike has got this one covered by the looks of things, and Venom's got second covered now because of that penalty from Honey Badger. So it looks like it's going to be Vitmel on the podium. Siege on the softs not able to hold the same pace as Venom, as Spike and Honey Badger. Siege has just been a little bit way off today in Super. It's just not his track by the looks of things.
Spike then into the hairpin for the final time, and he has really taken this race by the scruff of the neck. He started on pole with an electric lap in one-shot qualifying, and Spike is going to hold all the key to the crown at this stage. Of course, he's out of the championship battle, but what about this for throwing a spanner in the works here in Japan? Through Spoon for the final time, and 1.4 seconds is the gap between Spike and Venom. In fact, the gap has just came down slightly. Venom for second. Honey Badger will be then 5th, I think, because Vicmil and Siege will jump him. Of course, penalties still might play a factor, but 130R is completed for Spike for the final time, and he now comes into the Casio Triangle for the final time in the feature race. And with gloomy skies now arising, it is Spike who takes it at the land of the rising sun. Spike wins here in Japan from Venom in second. Honey Badger with that 5 second time penalty added. Let's see where he'll end up. Vicmil across the line, and Siege, yes, they do jump him. So Vicmil on the podium for 3rd. Mr. Consistency himself. Siege in 4th. Honey Badger in 5th. Look at this battle though. Mashiro, Mata catching very quickly. Right on the back of Mashiro. The Univitos is going to have to be careful here, because the Campos could try and nab him towards the line, but he's done enough. The Japanese man will finish 6th at his home Grand Prix in the feature race. He'll start 3rd, of course, in the sprint race. Massa across the line in 7th. Ren Farah, who we haven't mentioned, has driven a great race in 8th to get medium compounder tyres home for 10 laps. Is very good indeed. The German across the line in 8th. Conti across the line in 9th. He picked up a 5 second time penalty as well. Casper will be coming across the line for 10th position. The Finn picking up the final point scoring position, and Mays coming into the pits actually on that lap. He might have got front wing damage somewhere out on track, but the Dams car coming into 11th place, all being well. Touchwood, he'll get through 130R and the Casio Triangle, and he'll be home for 11th place. But Spike taking the win. Talk about throwing a spanner into the works. Venom and Vicmil outscoring Siege and Honey Badger in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's 18 points for second and 10 for Honey Badger in 5th, so that's an 8-point gain. I'm just trying to work out how close they are now in the standings. The gap between them, it was relatively big, but it's still a gain from Venom and Vicmil on the 2 in front, so championship, I can't even get my words out again. The championship gets even closer.
Fantastic, that's what we like to hear, of course, in TTL F2. Could it go down to the final round, I wonder? Well, we'll have to find out and wait and see. The sprint race then about to come, but it is Spike who takes the win here in the for the Univertosi team. A fantastic win. I would rather say he didn't really dominate that race. He was under pressure at some points in the race, but he has managed to come out on top, with Venom in second and Vicmil in 3rd, adding to the podiums as well. Of course, sprint race still yet to come. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. And of course, sprint race still yet to come. We're going to run down the final running order for the feature race for you now. And it was Spike who took the win with a 4-second win in the end, with that 3-second time penalty being applied to Venom. Vicmill finishing in third with Siege in fourth. Honey Badger, former championship leader, he did pick up the fastest lap of the race though, so that is an extra point for Honey Badger. Siege finishing ahead of him though in terms of the championship. Mashiva won his debut in sixth. The home driver there with Matter in 7th, when Farah in 8th, Conti in 9th, Casper in 10th, Mays pitting in on the last lap there, finish in 11th, and Sean DNFing and retiring within the pit lane. But the sprint race still to come. Goodness me, are we in for a treat?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the sprint race always throws up a little bit of drama, and at this track, the sprint race is going to be especially difficult for the championship leaders because of how difficult it is to overtake here. But we said that about Singapore. And it's raining as well, so add a little bit more spice to it.
I was expecting a dry race, to be honest, but even now, the wet conditions, who do you think is going to come out on top? This is throwing a right spanner into the works.
Throwing a spanner into... Have I actually... I don't think I've commentated over a wet race yet in TTL F2, so it's going to be difficult to see who has the most confidence. Just based on the dry running, I feel like Honey Badger's going to struggle. Because Honey Badger really struggled with traction a lot during that race, even in the dry conditions, on good tyres. So I feel like this may be a chink in the armour for Honey Badger. I think Mashiro might do quite well, actually. I know he finished way off the back of the lead group, but his pace was relatively similar to that lead group throughout the race. Without that mistake, who knows where he could have been. So he could be one to watch.
Well, we're getting the formation lap then underway, and it's actually Ren Farah who starts us on pole position for this reverse top 8, of course, in TTL F2 for the sprint race. So obviously Spike winning last time out, starting in 8th here tonight. But 11 laps await the drivers out on track. It's fully wet conditions. Of course, remember, the only wet compound of tyre is the blue wall tyre that you are seeing. There is no intermediate compound of tyre for the guys out on track tonight. And judging by our team Matter, he's already struggling in the conditions because he's nearly went off through the S section.
Oh,
and again.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a real struggle, I think. It's around this track in the wet is going to be a real struggle. Like you said, the fact that there's no winters means that the grip on the full wet tyres in these cars is really not a premium, and these do look like inter conditions, so these guys are going to struggle even more.
They will struggle even more, and I think it will be a real test of the drivers' characteristics around the Japanese circuit, the Suzuka International Circuit, of course. There are two drivers that have already had a little bit of collision on the formation lap. There was Casper and Mays, but that is in the formation lap and not within the real race itself. With it being wet conditions then, I'm going to push you for a top 3. Even harder to predict.
I know. I think I'm going to stick with my prediction of Mashiro doing well in this race. I'm going to say Mashiro is going to take the win here. I think second, I'm going to go for Siege in second position, and third, I'm going to go for Honey Badger.
Now, I've seen Honey Badger drive in the wet before, albeit in TTL races and TTL F1 especially, and he excels in the wet conditions. Whether he can take that to tonight, I'm going to bank on him winning. Do you know what? I'm going to predict Honey Badger for the win. I think he might have it within him. For second, I'm going to go for Mashiro and follow along the same line as you. And for third, ooh, bit of a tricky one. I'm going to go for Venom for third.
Yeah, definitely a good shout. Yeah. I just feel like Honey Badger struggled so much in the dry conditions with traction, and he had a number of moments that... Like, why he may excel in the wet in F1, F2 is a completely different beast. So it's just gonna separate the men from the boys, I think, this one.
I think it definitely will. Of course, you've got to have big balls to be going around here out on track tonight. And I'm going to let you take the rest off.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so see if he gets the better start off the front of the grid in the wet conditions. 3, 4, and then 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Lights out and away we go, and I think Matter got the better start off the grid. That's relatively equal. Look at the start Honey Badger got already. He's going for P2 off the line. Siege with a really good start as well as Spike. And I think Venom's dropped back. Casper had a really good start, but Honey Badger already up to second position. Matter runs really, really wide at turn 1, so he's already dropped way down into 7th position off the line. A brilliant start from Honey Badger, a great launch off the line, and he's already up to P2. Mashiro holds P3 despite losing the spot. Siege up to 4th and Vicmil up to 5th, Spike up to 6th, Manta down to 7th. And Venom hasn't really moved from his starting position, he's still in 8th place at the moment. Renfaro, a nice clean start, and he's keeping it out front. He's while his pace wasn't that good in the feature race, he's holding his own at the moment. As Vicmil and Siege are side by side, has Vicmil made a mistake somewhere? Surely he's lost 2 places on the way down to the Degner, so Vicmil up to 4th and Spike up to 5th. Really good stuff from them. Honey Badger though looks like he's closing in a little bit on Renfaro. Got side by side action further back between Matter and Siege. Oh, Siege are going to lose another position. Or possibly because Venom's on the inside. They're not going to go 3 wide out the corner, surely not. No. Oh, a little bit of contact between Matter and Siege. The Siege loses another place, and another one as Venom comes through, but Venom's on the grass. Oh, Venom's going to drop back a place again. And Casper not far behind this either, but wow, great races from these guys to keep it on the road so far. We've not really had any big moments for people as Casper runs a little bit wide and spoon. Oh,
Venom's on the inside, he's got him! What a move!
Wow, brilliant move. Siege really struggling in these wet conditions. He's plummeted like a stone completely through the field at the moment as Vicmil and Mashiro side by side. Not through 130R, Vicmil going around the outside of Mashiro through 130R. What a move from Vicmil up to P3 already. Brilliant move, and yeah, Spike, a little bit of contact though between the Virtuosos and Mashiro's round. Accelerated through the corner and he's spun it. What a shame, and Venom up the inside of Matter as well. Honey Badger sits the fastest lap, so... Oh, Honey Badger's faster than Renfaro and we didn't even notice it. So Honey Badger into the lead and Renfaro down to 2nd, but wow, what a crazy opening lap.
Fantastic opening lap out on track. But it's Honey Badger who does lead the way. My timings have glitched quite considerably. I'm not sure if they have on your end.
Yeah, they have. It's telling me that Casper's 2 minutes behind.
2 minutes behind, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a timing glitch there, but we can still see on the mini-map where people are, so we should be okay. But yeah, Venom didn't really gain anything at the start of the race, and then all of a sudden towards the end of the lap, he's absolutely flying. Yeah,
nearly soared down the inside.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. But I've got to say, that move from Vicmil around the outside...
Siege has lost it!
He's just really struggling in these conditions. He's got no confidence.
Oh, Venom surely not going down the inside into Degner too.
No contact. Oh, and his Matter's spun because of it. That seems like a little bit of an opportunistic move.
Matter using the reset to track. Oh, Venom nearly lost it through the hairpin.
Oh my word! There's Vicmil now on the back of Renfaro, but not quite able to get the exit. Yeah.
God, there's a lot of action happening. Jesus.
Yeah, hard to keep up with it, but yeah, it was a little bit of an opportunistic move there from Venom. He wasn't really alongside Matter, and that's really cost Matter as well. Yes, it's a really, really close race going on. Vicmil's got another good run. I was just going to say before that action kind of caught us off guard, but that move from Vicmil around the outside of 130 was going to be one of the moves of the season. That's brilliant, but he's under pressure from Spike now.
Yeah, sorry, Spike could try and repay the favour here.
Ooh, it's a little mistake though.
Just trying to feather the throttle through there. He just applied a bit too much throttle actually going into the corner, and that's why you saw the car kick out on him. Yeah. Renfaro nearly going for a bit of a half spin. Vicmil is through. Spike is through. Oh, is he?
He's side by side with him. Really well held from Renfaro. Good car control.
Oh, let's see. Matter retires. That is through. Oh, he's retired out on track. He's lost the position to Mashiro, and he's out of the race.
Yeah.
I think that was at the Casio Triangle.
P3. Yeah, Renfaro keeps P3, a little bit of contact there from Spike on Renfaro, but yeah, Renfaro with a better straight line speed keeps P3 ahead of Spike. So Renfaro holding his own at the moment as Spike has a massive moment there in the middle. Yeah,
Sean, down the inside of the S section, gets the move done on Casper. What a move! What a move by the Brit on the fin. Sean fighting the car up the inside line. Casper gave him little room to work with, but Sean still forces that campus through and he's up to 7th. What a move! There's great racing here.
Really, really good respectful racing going on at the moment. They're side by side in the places where you really wouldn't think they would be. They're doing really well. From a big moment on the exit, the Degner's there, but able to hold it once again.
Honey Badger's pulling away out in front.
Yeah, he is, yeah, but Siege looks like he's got his confidence back by the looks of things, so he's just starting to catch this battle for 3rd, so he had his He had a bit of a rough first two laps. He's built his confidence. So Renfara's running on the grass down the straight. Wow. These guys have absolutely no grip at all.
Oh, he's really struggling.
Yeah, with a little bit of an early turn in there for Spoon for Renfara. Spike's surely got the run down the straight.
Look at Venom as well. Venom is probably wetting his lips at this stage, quite literally, with it being wet conditions. Look at the spray being kicked up from Renfara and Spike as they're going side by side, nearly down into 130R. Spike, I think, resolutely is going to just stand behind him because he realises that Renfara will probably lose control of the car through there. But Honey Badger, 2.1 seconds out in front. Victor beginning to catch, I think.
Yeah. I just noticed that it was 2.5 when they started the lap. It was a little bit more pace in him. 57.1 to a 56.6, half a second a lap faster, wow.
Adds up.
So Victor much more confident at the moment. And Spike, I've noticed Spike has definitely got a higher downforce setup on, but Renfara, whilst running wide in Spoon and the lights of the final corner, he's getting good runs onto the straight, and Venom just doesn't have the straight line speed to pass him. So Spike's going to have to try and pass him somewhere else on the track. He's going to have to try maybe into the hairpin or into Spoon if he can get the run, but
I think
much faster in the straight line.
Honestly, I think Spike could get him through the Deckners. I think he could be lining up and move through the Deckners. Renfara currently, the German, doing well out on track. Siege has just caught onto the back of this 4-car train. It's like a Northern Pacer train, I think, currently at this stage in the race. But Renfara, look at Venom down the inside of Spike. They lean on each other a little bit. Oh my god, no way. No way.
No, that was never going to work for Venom. That was just a little bit too opportunistic. But yeah, Venom sideways twice on the inside of Spike.
Oh, Renfara makes a mistake.
Yeah, he made that mistake last lap as well, but Spike's just not close enough now.
Oh,
starting to gap a little bit, but yeah,
Spike
Venom
is
much more confident.
Spike defending so hard there on Venom. You saw him change the line midway through the corner.
Makes a mistake. Renfara makes a mistake, but Spike tries to go through the inside line and hits the grass and Venom's through.
And Siege could be through.
No, he's going to back off.
Oh, Spike's struggling. I think he got caught on his rear left tyre, I think, has got grass on it.
Yeah, he got caught in the grass. Renfara made a little mistake, and then just the natural wash of the car, Spike went to the outside of Renfara, and there was just not really any room, and he ended up on the grass. But yeah, it's now Venom's turn to go for P3.
Machine got the move done on Maze further down the field as well. The Japanese man up to 10th position, passing Maze, but Venom right on the back of Renfara. We're going to come through the Casio Triangle again. Siege and Spike as well. Nearly 2x2 Noah's Ark as they go through here, but Renfara. Has he kept that going? But Venom, on the outside, is going to get him.
Yeah, he's through. Yeah, Venom is
Spike.
inside himself. But...
Oh,
Spike's at the wall. Unbelievable. As Renfara's coming back at Venom into turn 1, he's going around the outside.
Contact.
No way Venom's going to hold that.
How?
Unbelievable.
Opposite lock and everything through there. I think his karting experience coming into play.
Stimpkana driving, absolutely brilliant. Ken Block who? That was insane. How Venom held that.
Honestly, we are seeing death-defying racing here tonight in Japan, and we are halfway through. Can't believe we're halfway through. It's Honey Badger who leads from Vic Mill in second, and Honey Badger's beginning to find that groove again. It's 2.7 seconds now, the gap from Vic Mill in second. But Renfara just tried to go around the outside of Venom. You saw him catch the right wheel of Venom's car, and that's why contact was made. Quite comfortably at this stage. Venom trying to get past Renfara, but I think here comes Siege. Oh, there was not a gap there.
No, not quite enough room, but yeah, Renfara, he's fast enough in the places where he needs to be, so he's holding his own. He's doing pretty well. Yeah, I was trying to get over. I was still speechless. How the hell he held that? He needed to teach me those skills. That was insane.
I'll tell you who was actually beginning to sneak into contention as a result of this. Sean in 6th is beginning to get closer. He's only 1.3 seconds off.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of capitalising on these people fighting, and the top 2 are nearly 7 seconds clear already, so it's really aided the top 2.
Renfara's wide. 3 second time penalty.
Yeah. But is Venom going to get the run this time as Renfara's wide in the chicane?
Switch back.
Surely Venom's got the run. Yeah,
oh, how on earth did not make contact? So close. Venom's going through though. And Renfara gets a much better exit.
Renfara much faster in a straight line, but he's just not as close this time to Venom, so Venom's got P3.
Scotsman doing a good job.
Renfara, Renfara far faster into turn 1.
He's not going to find. I think Venom's now just going to pull away through the S section. He'll just pull away.
Unless Venom makes a mistake, yeah, I think he's got it. When far really struggling with understeer.
Honey Badge is absolutely flying, by the way, out in front. That gap is now 4 seconds nearly. How?
Yeah, he's really gapping Vicmil. Again, missed the consistency. Vicmil's just doing all he needs. I think he just made a mistake.
Here comes Siege. Siege down the inside, I think, through the Dunlop curve here. But Siege looking to the inside. Not going to go for that one. He's going to have to wait.
Maybe if try and get the one into the hairpin.
If he gets a worse run out here, Renfara, Siege would be on the back of him. But Renfara actually uses that to great effect, and he just begins to pull away. And Siege actually just going to stand behind him. Maybe switch it back down the inside into the hairpin.
Oh,
and he does, and he makes contact.
That was never going to work. There wasn't enough room on the inside there for Siege.
Renfara just looked like he carried a little bit less speed there than Siege, and Siege tried to force the issue down the inside. I don't think it was his intention to make contact there at all.
No, I think he just kind of went for a gap that wasn't really there, and it
was always
really
going to close.
Siege out, and Siege is going to be out the championship lead by the end of this if he stays in 7th.
Mace has gone through on Mashiwa, by the way, as well, back down the field for 9th and 10th. Final point scoring positions here, of course, in TTL F2. It's Honey Badger who leads the way, though. Vicmil 2nd, Venom in 3rd, Renfara in 4th, Sean in 5th, Casper 6th, Siege in 7th, Conti 8th, Maze in 9th, and Mashiro in 10th. Can Sean now find a way through as Honey Badger's just gone, I think, 9/10 quicker than the previous fastest lap of the race with a 56.2.
That's a really
unheard of.
Fast lap. Really fast lap. He's far much more confidence than the rest of the field at the moment, but like I said, Mr. Consistency Vicmil is doing all he needs to bring himself further into this championship battle. While he's not outscoring Honey Badger, he is outscoring the championship leader, which is Siege at the moment, by quite a fair way.
Mashiro just getting caught on the bump there, coming towards the pit wall. Both him and Maze ran through very different lines there, but Mashiro closing on Maze. And look at the straight line speed that the Japanese man's got. Goodness me, right on the back of him. Coming down the straight, but he's not close enough for that move, so they stay as they are in 9th and 10th position. It's just gone a little bit quiet now. Renfara holding the gap to Sean, and Maze holding the gap to Mashiro. It's the quietest point I think we've had in about an hour's worth of racing.
Yeah, it's quieting down a little bit. Who would have thought it would quieten down in the wet race? But it's the gaps are starting to form. Venom's not able to catch the top 2. Honey Badger's disappearing into the distance in the lead. Yeah, and Sean's just not close enough to make a move on Renfara at the moment. So it's Siege on Casper.
Oh, no way. Traction will be there. Traction will be there. Is he? He has.
Ooh, he's pulled it off,
Down the inside. Siege has got it.
Good move from Siege. Yeah, made up for
here comes Casper,
the mistake with Renfara. But Casper's not going to be close enough to spoon, I don't think.
Siege has got better speed.
Yeah.
Not JT and Siege gets the move done, so the Dam's car passing the Colin for 6th position, and the Brit and the Finn having a good battle there out on track. The German, though, Renfara, really under pressure from Sean. I think Renfara is actually currently on for his best finish in TTL F2 since he joined, which is absolutely fantastic stuff.
Yeah, he's putting up a really good defensive drive at the moment. And considering that his
he's gone way too deep.
Yeah. But considering his setup is clearly made for the drive, he's doing not too badly, but yeah, surely Sean's got him.
Let's see what the straight line speed is like though. The Cheru looks quicker down the straight line.
Yeah, Renfara's incredibly fast in the straight line.
Sean's not going to go for this down the inside, is he? No, a little bit of mud kicks up that one. Renfara's gone miles wide, and Sean says thank you very much for that one. Job done. Renfara joins in a very safe manner as well. Well ahead of Siege and Casper still, but Sean through into 4th, and I think probably sooner rather than later Renfara was going to make that mistake and Sean was going to get that move done. And in fact Sean just making a slight mistake there. Just right on board then, looking at the comments section, Casper saying eyes in front coming into the race tonight, for the wet race of course, and Spike saying he just had no grip. Renfara dropping it at every corner and getting away with it, just nowhere to go. Pretty much impossible to make a clean move on the German. And Mike Williams coming in and saying, well, unless he drives off track and stays there. See them right on the back of Renfara though in the meantime. And this for the championship battle. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Siege is going to get the run on Renfara.
Yeah,
job done.
Renfara got caught on the curb on the inside and got a really poor run on the exit, so that was an easy move for Siege.
Tell you what, though, Renfara's coming back.
Look at that straight.
No way.
Who is going to go for it? Oh, no, that
never
was
going to
never
work.
No, reminiscent of Vettel on Verstappen, that was.
Yeah. Exact replica of Vettel and Verstappen a couple of years ago in Japan. And unfortunately for him, Renfara has dropped himself out of the top 5 with, if I've got to be honest, and I'm going to say it, a bit of a reckless move down the inside from the German. He shouldn't have gone for that at all.
Yeah, it was just too ambitious. He was too far back. It was never going to work. But because of that, it has completely quietened down now.
No.
We've got a nice 3-lap cruise to the end of the race, but look at the lead only budget us now. This is the kind of performance he should have had in the feature race, but it just didn't materialise.
I've just clicked on, I think. Is my prediction coming right?
Yeah, it is coming correct. My prediction is miles off, so you beat me to that one.
Yeah, Honey Badger, Vic Mill and Venom. I remember Honey Badger actually, I think it was last season, and he was driving in the wet. I think it was in Germany, if I'm recalling. It was a couple of seasons back, either last season or the season before. And Honey Badger really dominated that race in Germany, and you saw him begin to extend out the gap towards the end of the race, and that's exactly what he is trying to replicate here. And with Siege down in 5th, championship is blown wide open again, because Siege outscored Honey, of course, in the first race in the feature race, and Honey now outscoring Siege in the second race. That means Honey, I think, I'm under the impression he will take the championship lead back off Siege.
I think that's the case by the looks of it as well, and in the meantime as well, Vicmore and Venom will also both close up on Siege. So Siege really, he's kind of been a bit in the middle of nowhere this weekend. He's been really fast every weekend up until this point, and Suzuka, was just off the back of the top 5 in the first race, and then in the wet he's just not had the confidence.
Yeah, Ren's still falling down out on track. Casper having a bit of opposite lock there, coming out of Spoon. He is trying to get a little bit closer though to Siege. That gap has just decreased slightly. Casper trying to close in the Finn on the back of the Brit Siege, but at this moment in time, lap of the race, and Honey Badger leads by 6.6 seconds. I have a feeling Honey Badger made a bit of a mistake there coming through the final corner. That's why the gap has came down by my reckoning 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I think Honey Badger may have outbraked himself into the chicane, so I think that's where he lost time to Big Mill. But still, he's got such a big lead in his cruise now.
She was right on the back of Conti here, Arc 1-3 against the Uni Vittosi, and as soon as I say that, Mashivo has a bit of a moment. He recovers the car well though, and actually closes in somehow on Conti. Explain that one to me in the comment section, please. Mashivo right on the back though, the Dutchman is under pressure, and I've got to say Mashivo is driving a good race. He's just made a few too many mistakes in the wet. I don't think he's driven these cars in the wet before either, so it's essentially a bit of a baptism of fire in the land of the rising sun. And Mashivo right on the back of Conti. You can see him fighting with the car through every single corner, and Conti somehow is still in front. Mashivo going Tokyo drifting quite literally around here with Suzuka.
I feel like we're on board with a rally car at this point. Mashiro is all over the place. This is great car control, but he's going fast. He's going sideways faster than he's going forwards at this point.
He's trying to replicate Venom earlier on in the race. I think that's what he's trying to do. Yeah. Style. Unfortunately, there's no style points that we can award here in TTL F2. It's not Dirt Rally 2.0, sadly.
Yeah, sadly not. But still, how he's keeping control of that car, I don't know. But just to say that he's out of record. Surely his tyres are burnt out. He's got absolutely no grip at all.
But these tyres, these tyres would only last 11 laps anyways, I think, or just over 11 laps. And we're on to the final lap of the race. I can't believe it. Honey Badger leads 5.9 seconds. I think in safekeeping he's now toned it down. Venom with the new fastest lap of the race though. But in the meantime, Siege trying to gain a position on Sean. These two have been fabled rivals in the past in TTL, and Siege is trying to gain on the back of Sean, and Siege certainly on the last lap or so has gained about 0.6 of a second on Sean. That gap is 1.2. It's now less than 0.6 of a second coming through turns 1 and 2. Is Siege close enough for a move?
Not yet. I
on
don't
this
think
lap?
he's gonna. It's gonna have to come at a point where you wouldn't really expect an overtake. It's gonna have to come at the hairpin or spoon, I think.
Sean just had a bit of a moment there, actually coming through the S section, and Siege is on the back of him. Sean just running wide through every corner. Siege is just sticking that nicely to the apex. It's like super glue being stuck to the apex on those tyres. And he's not going to go for the move here, is he?
Oh, he is. Sean lets him through, I think.
No, side by side with
the
inside. Oh, what a move!
Oh my, wow. Brilliant stuff from Siege. This is the race of the best overtakes. Christ almighty. There's some really good overtakes going on in this race, but you can see, I mean, that could be vital for Siege's championship take. Look how far off he is his championship rivals.
Unbelievable.
12 seconds off the back of Venom.
Absolutely unbelievable. Vicbil and Venom both outscoring Siege here as well, so it's pretty much a polar opposite of what happened in the last race. But in the sprint race, though, it has all been about one driver, and it's Honey Badger coming back to his absolute best form here in the sprint race. And the Dutchman now coming around the final corner here in Japan. He is going to take the sprint race victory at an absolute canter. Honey Badger across the line to win in Japan. From Vic Mill coming across the line in second. Any penalties, of course, might be added on. But Vic Mill across the line in second. Venom in third. Might be investigated for that little bit of contact earlier on. Siege and Sean, though, fighting towards the line through the Casio triangle. And Siege will be coming across the line just about in fourth position. Sean will be in fifth. They will stay as they are, as Mashiro has been overtaken, and it's actually side by side running down the strip. It's Mashiro through 130R, and Mashiro right around the outside had the better straight line speed there and got the move back past Maze. Maze, I think, gonna try something coming through the Casio triangle. Spike lead to the session. It's Renfar across the line in 7th. Casper finished 6th. Mashiro nearly into the pit lane. Maze about to come across the line, though, right in behind Mashiro for 9th and 10th in the stay as they are. The air is just coming together. A little bit of contact there, but it is Honey Badger who takes the win here in the sprint race. And oh my god, what a sprint race that was!
That was absolutely brilliant, and Honey Badger more than made up for the mistakes that he made in the feature race. He was utterly dominant in that race. There was, I don't think anyone can question it. I think nowhere near as fast as him. Venom, obviously, though, taking the fastest lap, does take some points off Honey Badger and put some in his favour. So Venom doing all he can to try and bring himself further into this championship fight.
Yeah.
Same with Vic as well, a double podium for Vic as well. So another good showing from Vic, Mr. Consistency, bringing himself back into the championship race.
It's going to be so interesting to see the drivers' standings. I think it's going to be less than 25 points coming into the next race. Of course, next week.
Really?
It is Honey Badger, though, who has taken the race win by 6.4 seconds, and not a domination from the Dutchman out on track. Back to his best from Vic Mill in second. Venom, fastest lap of the race, in third. Of course, post-race penalties might be applied. Siege in fourth, finishing 4/10 of a second ahead of Sean, so Siege actually just losing out there on 7 points as opposed to what he would have done if it was the full feature race. Sean in 5th, Casper 6th, Renfara with the only penalties in 7th, Conti in 8th, Mashiro on his debut in 9th, and Maze in 10th, Spike and Matter both DNFing out of the race. Well, what a treat that was in Japan. Aiden, what did you think of that? That was unreal.
That was two really good races for completely different reasons, but yeah, really, really good driving from a lot of people out there. A couple of questionable moves, but that last race was just pure car control. That was just a real display of talent. That was that last race, and I'm still mind blown from Venom somehow holding that. So that's going to be probably my moment of the season so far. And then Vic Mill with the overtake of the season so far, in my opinion. So some really, really good moves and some good car control in that last race. But yeah, championship closes up, and I'm rubbing my hands closer together. I've also Singapore spiced the championship up. This has spiced it up even more.
Spiced it up even more, and we hot-footed to the other side of the world for next week. Of course, we go to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. So good day to y'all from there. That's the best American accent I can try. I'll try and refine that for next week.
Again.
I'll try and refine it to next week. Otherwise, I'll be getting Google Translate up at this rate. But until next week, of course, just to fill in on what is happening this week, we've got TTL F1 coming tomorrow? Thursday for TTL F1, I was going to say, unless Thursdays have changed into Wednesdays all of a sudden. TTL F1 on Thursday. Kevin McGinley and myself will be taking you through that one. And I do believe, if I have a look back at the calendar from last week, we also go to the Circuit of the Americas for TTL F1, which will be very interesting indeed. The championship battle still very close for that. Friday is the TTSL, the TTL F1 League 2 Challenge Cup, as it's now known as. Myself and a very special guest of Paco Suarez will be taking you through that one. The Spaniard will be joining me in the commentary box for both races on Friday night. And then Saturday we do it all over again, of course, with Competitive Racing Club GT3 Tier 2 from 7:30 and 8:30 for Tier 1, where you can see myself and Alan Cavey going to be taking you through, Alan Cavagnaro I should say, taking you through that one. Oh, I'm a bit breathless. I need to have a rest up after that. Goodness me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just going to say a final word. Great job from everyone, and USA is going to be one hell of a track for these cars, so I can't wait for that.
America should really produce the goods, I think, here next week for TTL F2. If you have, of course, liked the action and liked our commentary, like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Tick that notification bell so you don't miss anything from TTTV. The mini leagues will be up in 2 weeks if you are tuning in for those. 18th and the 25th of March, both on Wednesdays, and I do believe we're both commentating for the mini leagues.
That is correct, yes. I'll be commentating, I believe, on the second races for both events. So I'll be on the 9:15 slots, so you can catch me then.
And I'll be on 7 o'clock and 7:45, and I might even put my name forward for 8:30.
Well, there you go. You'll have a long night.
A very long night. I'm going to be, Wednesdays are always a long night for me anyways. But thank you very much for tuning in to TTL F2. I can't even get my words out. I need a rest. Thank you very much for watching. I've been James Head. He's been Aidan Carter. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time in Circuit of the Americas, goodbye.
Goodbye.